welcoming remarks, let me invite my colleague Vinay Dora to please take over. Vinay?
Yeah, greetings everybody. Fantastic to be part of the year-end Enterprise AI Mixer. I'm going to be talking a little bit about us from Mixer. Every Enterprise AI event, we do share some insights, learnings, takeaways. Here, in fact, what we're going to do is I'm just going to share with you some numbers, what we have done over the years, and hope you indulge me a bit. So over the year, we had taken people on quite a few global delegations with the ecosystems, with the accelerators, incubators, enablers. And we have also got a few numbers that we thought we could share. Here are some of the testimonials. You'll find them on Mixer World. You'll find pitch decks. You'll find our upcoming events, all of that. But here are some of the numbers that Mixer has been into. Annually, we do 30 to 35 Mixers. We do it with partners. We never do it alone. So on this Friday, we have something with the Karnataka Accelerator Network happening and Manasvi will share the link in the chat. It is our annual year-ender, and we're doing it with the Accelerator Network. We have masterclasses, accelerators, connect sessions, and all of that. You're welcome to join in if you're in Bangalore. And in the evening, we have a virtual webinar with the Thai global ecosystems from across the world. Some 6, 7 presidents of Thai chapters will be joining us. That is on, all of these are on Friday, the 19th, starting from 10 a.m. India time. Right. So here are some of the stats that we have. We have done mixers across different parts of India, and we've also done it at global hubs. So Dr. Madan and myself, we travel quite a bit, and I've been mostly spending my time in ASEAN and the GCC region. Here are some of the ecosystem partners that we work with. We work with the state governments. We work with startup missions. A lot of accelerators, incubators. One of the accelerators we work with, for instance, is the Coffee Board of India. We work with focused, curated VCs like the Axel partners who are looking to invest in AI startups. Recently, we also showcased ourselves at the Bangalore Tech Summit. We promoted our cross-border initiative out there. We also have, and we facilitate this, we'll be happy to do it with knowledge management community where we connect relevant founders based on your interest commitments to enterprise leaders and vice versa. And we'll also be playing some of the enterprise AI startups who have pitched to us over the past few months, over the years. And here are some recent engagements. We have been part of Your Stories annual flagship event, the Thai Global Summit, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. We have at the Bangalore Tech Summit, the Greenlit Fest, and happy to share more. If you have any inquiries, please do write to us, ping us, and we'll share more. Back to you, Madan.
Yeah, I think Madan will be just joining in
Yeah.
few minutes. Yeah, he's just joined back.
So just to go through some of the recent events and plans that we have for January, we have the Thai Global Summit, but we also have the ComsNet event, which is in its 21st year, ComsNet EIS. It's happening at Chancery Pavilion in Bangalore between 6 to 10. I'm just going to quickly share details of the event that's happening. We are bringing in the enterprise element and the founder connect sessions in this event. So this is the upcoming event that Mixer is also partnering with. We'll share the agenda shortly with folks out here. You have a lot of, if you look on the right, you have, folks, academia from around the world, Carnegie Mellon, SMU, different universities, University of Pennsylvania, who are joining us. It used to be essentially a paper presentation kind of a session. We are bringing in more of the business connect, the founders session. And this is happening in Bengaluru again, Chancery Pavilion. We also have a follow-up event, which is happening in other parts of the world. It's happening in Jakarta, Indonesia, and a few others that we are finalizing. So let's see.
Yeah, Madan has joined in.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hi, sorry, I had a small network issue here. Yeah, Vinay, are you done?
No worries. Yeah, over to you, Madan.
Yeah, fantastic. So everyone, welcome to, hang on, let me share my screen. Welcome to our year-ender session of the Mixer World community. We're going to have a focus this time on AI and enterprise knowledge management. Can you all see my slides?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so we have a couple of hours to go through a couple of very interesting topics, which is on the one hand, what's happening with knowledge and the knowledge economy, especially in large organizations and startups, and on the other hand, what's happening in AI and how is AI changing the way the economy functions, the way work is being done, etc. So, Katya, you're joining our community for the first time, and I'm sure there are some others who are joining this community for the first time. We are the Bangalore Knowledge Management Community. We've been around for more than 20 years, thanks to the support of people like Ved and Rudy in the audience over here. Bangalore is known for its very extensive group of academic research institutes, very strong in clusters like defense, aerospace, and so on. Many of the giant IT services firms are here. Also, the global capability centers, the research, innovation, and back office hubs of many companies around the world are based in Bangalore. In addition to the big companies, Bangalore is also very well known for design, for startups, for incubators. There are many accelerators here for startups to grow. It has got the world's second largest hub for AI talent, and I'll come to that when we talk about the zillions of startups we have here in Bangalore doing work in the space of AI and knowledge activities. Along with all this success also comes its share of problems. I'm sure you all know how bad Bangalore's traffic can be and how we need to desperately sort some of these issues, but maybe that's another issue. KM for the civic sector. Um, Over the last 20 years, we've gone through some amazing changes. When we first started this group, all we had was Yahoo email e-groups to discuss with each other. Now we've gone through all these waves of innovation, search, smartphones, social media, and now AI and Gen AI. But what's common across the years is the importance of leadership, the importance of organizational culture, resilience, agility, creativity, and so on to withstand all these waves of change and to be able to emerge even stronger. So some of the business trends we've seen in the last 20 years or so are the rise of crowdsourcing and co-creation, how to partner with different companies in the ecosystem. So now we're seeing, especially in places like Bangalore, a lot of large companies working with startups to grow the knowledge ecosystem, to have new kinds of personal knowledge management tools, and so on and so forth. So today's session, I'm very pleased that we have an outstanding speaker joining us all the way from Australia. Thank you so much, Katya. Katya Forbes is the author of a brand new book called Machine Customers. She's going to tell us all about the book. I met her at a fantastic conference called Design Up in Bangalore, and I said, you must come and speak to this community as well. Joining us later on in about an hour or so is Jayadatta Lad, who's the Knowledge Management Head of AFCON's Infrastructure. They're a winner of the Mike Award, Most Innovative Knowledge Enterprise Award. They're going to talk about how they have used different kinds of technologies and processes to become a very innovative organization. Then we have two speakers from our partner organization here, the Knowledge Management Global Network. It consists of chapters from around, I guess, 25 countries now. We have Olga Smirnova joining us from Russia. She is the current chair of KMGN. And joining us after that will be Ved Prakash, who is the chair designate in just a few weeks, the chair of the KM Global Network. They're going to talk about what's happened so far and what might be happening next year in the field of knowledge management. And then we end up in fine style with Rudy. Rudolph D'Souza is the CEO of Innovent Consulting. He's going to lead us through a facilitated group discussion on what do we think are the key success factors to succeed in the AI age. What are some key skill sets we need to thrive in this space? So the structure of the conversation today is we would have begun pitches with startups. I'm going to run through pitches of some startups who pitched in the last couple of years. We're going to discuss from different companies how has all this AI worked in this space? What can AI do for companies in the future? And how do we scale this kind of energy, this kind of activity? So looking at the registration sheet, we've got quite a few people who've signed up. I hope they all actually do join us today. We have Standard Chartered Bank, KPMG, NASCOM, Karnataka Digital Economy Mission. From the academic side, we have IIT Dharwad. From the large firm side, we have Trians, Afcons, SARS, a company from South Africa, and a whole bunch of other organizations in mid-size to startup stage, everyone from SkilledBot to Codeplay Labs to Cornerstone Solutions. So a very good mix of organizations from academia and industry, from startups to mid-size to large organizations. So a few words about myself. My name is Madan. I'm the co-founder of MXR.world. I work with Vinay to launch these kinds of platforms. We also co-founded the Bangalore Key Community as a platform about 20 years ago. I published a few books, a couple of them also on knowledge management, leading with knowledge, knowledge management tools and techniques, and knowledge management initiatives in Singapore. The more recent one was Communities of Innovation, how companies are creating communities, internal and external, to grow their national and their knowledge dividends. We always have to make sure that we have some authors who speak at Bangalore K community. For example, here are some of the authors we've had in the past. Uh, we've had Stan Garfield, the author of the Bible of Community Networks in the Knowledge Ecosystems. We also had Zachary Wall, co-author of Making Knowledge Management Clickable, how to click and make knowledge accessible through portals and so on. I think 2 months ago, we had Leila Maroof, the author of the book Knowledge Mindfulness. She spoke to us. Earlier, we did a couple of sessions on failure, how to learn from failure. Everyone talks about best practices. What about worst practices? What about mistakes? So we had two outstanding authors a couple of years back speaking with us. One was Sarah Tate from the UK. She talked about her book, The Rebuilders, How People Bounce Back from Failure. And Robin Banerjee gave some insights from his best-selling book in India, Who Blunders and How, which is what are some of the mistakes companies have made and how we can learn from the mistakes of others. Other authors we've had in the past are Jeremy Dalton. He wrote one of the very early books on AR and VR, how VR can help the knowledge ecosystem in organizations, for example, through corporate training and so on and so forth. We also had Samir Dhandrajani, who's the author of the book AI and Analytics. He also organizes his own very successful series of conferences on AI, GCCs, and so on. And today I'm very happy, as I mentioned earlier, to have Katya Forbes join us. She's going to talk about her book on machine customers. Um, I'm also a part of the Bangalore Business Literature Festival. Here are some of the authors we've had in our festivals. There's the best-selling book which came out just a few months ago, Nitin Seth's book on the human edge in the AI age. What can we do as humans to be a step ahead of the machine, so to speak? Another nice balanced kind of view by Venkat and Krishnan in this book, The Co-Intelligence Revolution, How Humans and AI Co-Create New Value. I love that term, co-creation. It's a bit more than collaboration. And then another good book which came out by Jaspreet and Anuj called Winning with AI, Your Guide to AI Literacy. So just as you had basic literacy and digital literacy, now you have AI literacy to measure how good you're doing in this space. A lot of the discussion that we've had in our previous meetups are based on this outstanding book. I hope to have Shamin join us also. He wrote this book called Gorillas Can Dance, which is how big, large firms can also be very agile and responsive if they start partnering, for example, with startups. So this is some of the stuff that he talks about in his book. Why is it important for large companies to learn about and from smaller organizations? One is, of course, the agility and creativity of small firms. There are challenges, of course, because the large company and the small firm have very different cultures, very different mandates, very different working styles. But it is possible for them to work together if they pick up common pain points, common problems, set challenges for each other, celebrate quick wins, and so on, and then train each other how can startups pitch into the corporate audience, and how can big companies work with startups to do innovation in-house by using entrepreneurs in residence and so on. The book ends with some very good examples and case studies of how large firms and startups can collaborate to do knowledge mapping, to fill up knowledge gaps, to embrace new kinds of innovation capacities, and so on. So that's going to be the first part of my presentation today. I'm going to switch now to another set of remarks from one second. Okay. I would have actually gone through a bunch of presentations from startups, but since this is a year-ender event, I thought I would do something a bit different, which is I thought I would share with you some examples of startups who have pitched over the past couple of years at our events. So we normally do 3 or 4 pitches in this part of the presentation, but as a tribute to all the founders who pitched at our events in the last couple of years, I'm going to run through very quickly some of the outstanding ones. So these are all startups. Most of them are based in Bangalore, by the way. And it's a great example of how this whole AI thing, this whole digital ecosystem has opened up so much opportunity for creators to create new kinds of products and services in the knowledge economy by using AI. For example, this is a company called Cluzo. They pitched a couple of months ago at our event. And what they do is they allow companies to create videos and tutorials from very simple text commands and screenshots. So you can create a manual, you can create an education guide, and so on by using the tools of this particular company. Then we had Isha Juneja pitch earlier this year. She runs a company called ContraVolt, and they do a lot of tender process management by using automation and AI. So for companies who are moving from paper to digital, from digital to AI, they help a lot with the automation of the processes, the documentation, and so on. We also had a very interesting company called Vodex.ai, and they are doing a lot of text generation from, video generation from text prompts. And they claim to have an advantage of sounding not very robotic. I'm sure you've heard many of these AI agents and chatbot which sound very robotic, but they claim to have cracked some way of making it much more human sounding with emotion and so on. We also had a whole bunch of startups who are coming up with solutions in different industry verticals. For example, we had Telco Sol, which works a lot in the network space. So networks are going through some very interesting transitions. There's a whole new development coming up called Open RAN, Open Radio Access Network, how to make the whole telecom tower more open source, open kind of components methods. And this is what Telco Sol is doing. Then we heard from Jellies.ai earlier this year. They do a lot of AI-powered developer work for people to become AI developers. So suppose you have a workforce who is reasonably technically qualified, but they want to become AI developers. So they have developed a 12-week program for people to become AI developers by using these kinds of solutions of theirs. We also heard, I think this was last year, we had Flicky.ai. They come up with, they also generate videos from text, and they claim to have very good videos generated by people who don't need to have video editing skills. So even without video skills, you can create reasonably good editors. So very good content coming from this company. Now, this was a really outstanding pitch we had from a woman called Nilima Fobukar. She runs a company called Test AI NG. It's testing with AI in the middle of it. So as you can guess, now a big challenge for many companies is how to make sure your AI code is compliant with ethics, with different kinds of guidelines in different countries, regulations, and so on. So this company helps you at a very early stage to ensure that whatever new stuff you're doing is AI compliant. By the way, you can find all these pitch decks of all these 20 startups on our website, mixer.world. We also had this company, Automaton.ai. They've come up with different kinds of AI solutions for process optimization. So this process optimization area seems to be a very big target for AI startups to work with big companies in how to make their processes more streamlined. One of the best examples of traction of all startups that we've had pitching at our sessions is this company by this PhD in neurolinguistics called Ajit. He runs a company called Ongil.ai. They've had very successful traction with companies like Unilever and 3M. They help them with analytical predictions, insight generation, and so on, based on data leading to intelligence. So I'm about halfway through my list, but I must share with you some of these other very interesting startups, all based in Bangalore mostly, who pitched in this space of AI and knowledge advantages for companies. A good space. This is a company which does recruitment automation. They use AI to do interview automation, to do multilingual interviews from the same script, and so on. So a very good area again for AI startups to do work with large firms. Low code and no code is another big buzzword now. So many knowledge workers need to become code creators as well. So this company helps people create agents by using no code kind of platforms. So this is the startup N agent. As you notice, a lot of startups have .ai in the name. This is probably another fad for some time, but very soon AI will be embedded in everything. So maybe we will not see .ai anymore. This is Niti.ai. They do retention management in the marketing sector. So we're seeing some startups do generic kind of content management. Some are very vertically focused. Some are very horizontally focused for a company. So you're most welcome to take your pick of whichever slice you want and then see what to do with your organizations. So that's Niti.ai, retention marketing for campaign automation and so on. We also had a very good presentation by IntelliMark. They do marketing analytics, but this time only for packaged good companies. So the package industry had its own set of constraints and advantages and so on. So this company does marketing optimization for these folks. Another interesting startup was this one, as the name suggests, Tiny Prism Labs. They do a lot of edge AI. So they're doing a lot of IoT-based AI to help companies do much better smart supply chain, logistics, mobility, and so on. Coming towards the end of the list, we had Paris Solutions. Now, this is very interesting. There's a whole bunch of AI startups now looking at green tech, how to use AI to optimize supply chain, how to reduce waste, how to reduce pilferage, and things of that sort. So here's one of them. Pari AI is a clean tech AI startup, And they use AI to make water plants, wastewater management plants much more effective, much more efficient. On a similar vein, there's a company called FitZone, also in a similar space. This is probably more in the area of climate tech. So they do a lot of carbon tracking. So they look at your supply chain and they say where are places where you can reduce the carbon footprint and therefore become a much greener company. So we see this as a very big area for AI to get into. Uh, Another very cutely named company, No Grunt, as the name suggests, they want to remove the grunt work of the kind of work that people do in organizations, especially in software testing. So this is a company which improves your quality assurance processes by reducing some of the grunt work and leaving employees the higher work to do. Digital CFO, this is geared at smaller organizations. It offers a full AI-based solution for cash flow management, risk management, and so on. Last two in my list, Green Ops. This is a very interesting startup doing digital twins. So you can create a digital twin of your whole factory, your whole smart city implementation, etc. And it will tell you where you can reduce the different kinds of carbon areas, where you can use more solar energy. If you are using solar, how to improve the throughput of the panels and so on. And I think this is the last one on my list. Yeah, no, just two more. Yeah. So Noisy.ai is another startup which does multilingual content. As you all know, India has whatever 20 to 40 official languages, dialects, and so on. And it's very important to bring the fruits of AI to other languages in India as well. So there's a whole bunch of startup doing Indic AI, Indian language software, Indian language translation, and so on. Um, this is the last on my list, and this is HireNext.ai. They do a lot of automation in the area of candidate screening, candidate matching to different kinds of profiles, and so on. They can adjust to different peaks of when students graduate from colleges, universities, and so on. And so you can manage your recruiting process as the case may be. Oh, good. We got a full house now. I'm very glad that we all are gathered here now to listen to the next part of our session. What I just did for those of you who just joined right now is we normally have two or three startups who pitch in detail about what they do in terms of combining AI with knowledge activities in companies. But this time I thought, since this is a year-ender event, I'll give you a quick snapshot of 20 startups who have pitched at our event in the last 2 years. So you can find many more details about those on our website. So we now move to the second part. We're a couple of minutes early, but I think Katya is already ready and she wouldn't mind being released, so to speak, a bit earlier. It's my great pleasure now to introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker is Katya Forbes. She's going to be giving us a keynote session. I first met Katya a number of times at the Design Up conference in Bangalore. It's one of the top 20, I guess, design conferences in the world. And she's always been talking about UX, digital strategy, leadership, and all that. And when I heard her a few months ago, she said, I've got this new book coming out on AI, and it's all about how AI is now creating its own customers, is being created for customers, and so on. I guess I'm not saying it properly, but I'll leave it over to Katya. Katya is joining us all the way from Australia. She shuttles between Australia, Singapore, Bangalore. She comes to India many, many, many times. She's a big fan of our country, our culture, and I'm very happy that Katya is joining us this time virtually, but hopefully next time she can come and meet us all in person. So Katya, you got about 20 minutes and maybe we can take some
Okay.
Q&A after that. So everyone, a big round of applause, please, for Katya. And may I ask all of you whose videos are off, just for 5 seconds, put on your video so Katya can see who we all are, so she can, pitch her remarks accordingly. Oh, good, good. I'm seeing quite a few. Yeah.
Oh, I can see. Yeah, and feel free to give me reactions and things as we go as well. I'd be so happy to see that. But yes, I am such a fan of India. I think Madan, you did you see my sari last in November?
No, I never
I
seen
got
your
a new
side. Oh my God.
I got a
Got to
new
come back.
sari blouse. I was so excited to have my new sari blouse, and I was wearing my sari, which I love very much. And it was a delight to come and see you in just November this year. However, what I'm going to share with you this evening, well, it is evening for me, is a little about how AI is actually becoming a customer. All right, I'm sharing my screen, and all right. Can you confirm for me, madam? You can see what's going on here.
Yeah, yeah, we can all
Yeah.
see. Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Magic. All right. So this is something that I've been very deep in the weeds on, and I think what I'm covering today will have aspects of sort of commerce to it, I think. But there's also, as we go through, I think there's some threads of knowledge management, particularly for our front line and our call center staff, that I think it'd be great for people to reflect on. And I'd love to talk about that a little bit more with this very specialist audience. But before we get into that, let's actually tackle the subject itself. So I am a customer experience expert. I work for a large global financial services firm as the head of client experience for them. And I have been working in digital design, customer experience, user experience, as Madan very kindly said, for nearly 30 years. Actually, no, this year it is 30 years. And obviously, I'm getting a little bit older, but I call it experience. It's experience. Okay, so we have actually spent decades obsessing about human customer experience. If you think about how we design our websites and our apps, we design for emotion, we design for memory, we design for delight, we design for moments that matter. And for a long time, that was enough. But what I'm here to share tonight is the customer is changing. Your next customer may never read your carefully crafted copy. Your next customer may not even visit the websites and apps that you have created. Your next customer will not care how your brand story makes them feel, because your next customer may very well be an algorithm. So it might be a delegated agent going out into the world to buy things on behalf of its human. It might be a self-driving car that can book its own services and buy its own tires. It might be an AI procurement platform that's got $10 million to spend and it wants to close contracts without involving a human. And they're not going to care about your story. They will only choose you if you make sense to them in code. So, what does it take to be chosen by a machine customer? What does customer experience even look like when our customer is no longer human? I like to take this for a scenario spin and ground it in a little bit of near-term reality, let's call it that, and introduce you to my currently as yet fictional AI agent, Tyler, and let's see how Tyler chooses.
Good morning. I've been optimizing your life. Shall we review my recent decisions?
Yes, please, Tyler. Let's talk about yesterday's grocery order.
Ah, yes. Your fridge noticed you were running low on milk, eggs, and spinach. Based on your preference for organic products and the local store's current sale, I ordered replacements. Delivery is scheduled for 6 p.m. tonight.
Hang on a minute. Why didn't you stick with our usual store?
The usual store had higher prices on organic spinach. By switching, I saved you 12%.
Okay. But what about the loyalty points I lost by not shopping at my usual store?
Your loyalty points redemption value is 5%. My decision still resulted in a net benefit.
All right, Tyler. Okay. Let's turn to something that's a little bit more personal. I understand you've been tracking my well-being.
Indeed. Your wearable detected elevated stress levels last week and flagged that you hadn't exercised in 3 days. To help, I booked a yoga class for tomorrow at your favorite studio.
Okay, you booked it with my money?
Your wellness goals prioritize stress reduction. This aligns perfectly. Plus, your membership covers the class, so there's no additional cost.
Yeah, okay, but what if I don't want to go?
You are free to cancel. But based on your history, I predict an 83% likelihood that you'll thank me after attending.
Tyler, so sassy, so sassy. So this is what we have, a little demonstration of an interaction between me and my fictional AI agent. It can do things on my behalf. It can nudge me in the direction of better behaviors. But how much trust are we really willing to give them? Thank you very much, Tyler.
You're welcome, Katja.
All right, I want you to not think about this from the perspective of, oh, that was an AI agent, and I might have an AI agent one day. This is how the interaction might work. I want you to flip the script. I want you to think about this from the point of view of the grocery store, from the point of view of the yoga studio, from the point of view of the loyalty points program. How ready are those businesses to interact with and transact with Tyler. Think about your own businesses. How ready are you for the Tylers of the world to start knocking on your door digitally to give you money? Now, I talk a lot about machine customer experience in this because I believe as businesses, we have to create experiences for these new type of unfamiliar customers. And I do get a lot of objection when I talk about it. Machine customers aren't human. They don't have emotions, so they can't have experiences. There's no such thing as a machine customer experience, which drives me completely like crazy. Because as I said, I'm deep in the weeds on this one, and I can assure you that there is absolutely such a thing as machine customer experience. Um, with the objections, obviously, machines don't have experiences, they have processes. Now, I'm actually willing to get pretty nerdy on this one because the word experience comes from the Latin experientia, which means a trial or a test. Now, I'm not here to say that they feel joy or frustration, but every data exchange they have with our businesses is a trial. Every API endpoint they try to access is a test. And the outcomes of those trials and tests can be optimized, can be created and curated using experience design mindset. And I think the other one I get a lot is, oh, it's just an API or a data exchange or something else technical. And this really misses the business reality of what we're facing here. Because if you want it to just be commoditized pipe work for these AI agents to be able to come to your business and transact, well, sure, just switch on the APIs. But we have a huge layer of new customer behavior and customer interaction that we have to intentionally design. We need to solve for trust. We need to solve for different customer types. Tyler's not the only type of machine customer there is. We have to solve the whole customer journey. We have to figure out what loyalty looks like. So when somebody tells me that this is just technology, yeah, we have a problem. I have written an entire book on how we solve for this problem. You might also be thinking, this is probably a little way out, Katya. Maybe it's a bit futuristic, and not necessarily as focused on today as you might be. This is how Visa currently tries to sell its cards. So this is Visa with its travel card, and what it's using here is a whole bunch of really emotional, human aspirational imagery. So, if you choose Visa, you can be these wonderful people having this lovely dinner. You can be these people in a hot air balloon in Africa. You can be on holiday. You can be having massages in the rainforest. This is the emotional, aspirational messaging that so many brands use to try and get us to choose them. But imagine I'd sent Tyler out into the world to try and find me a good credit card to take on my travels. I'd say I want low interest rates. I want a good interest-free period. I don't want foreign exchange fees or transaction fees. Go, Tyler, find me. Now, Tyler's not going to care about any of this. Tyler doesn't care if I can have a massage in the rainforest. The only reason Tyler would choose this card is if it makes sense to it in code. You might think, oh, well, Visa might be in a bit of trouble here. But I think it was the 30th of April this year, Visa launched Visa Intelligent Commerce, which is an AI agent that can shop on your behalf, Tyler, if you will. And you can give it instructions like, find me the best headphones under $250, and when you find them, buy them. It's an offering that provides you with a tokenized card for your agent to use. Now, there's quite a few in market at the moment. There's Visa's Intelligent Commerce, there's MasterCard's Agent Pay. There's a lot of organizations making big bets in this place. Perplexity has a tie-up with Shopify. We've seen Stripe and ChatGPT launching buy from chat. Amazon has Rufus, which you can actually, it's their internal chatbot tool on the Amazon ecosystem. And you can actually say to Rufus, just decide, help me decide. And Rufus will decide on your behalf on the thing. So if we're thinking about how we're trying to capture these wonderful new customers, we have to be doing our customer experience very differently. Now, the consumer side is easy to get your head around, okay? So Tyler goes and buys headphones for me or et cetera, et cetera. But I find it absolutely fascinating to think about this from a bigger perspective because I work in corporate and investment banking. So my clients are governments of countries, large multinationals. And I'd like to see a little about how a B2B interaction might work. And I grant you this is unlikely to happen in a conversational interface, but it's much more fun to do it that way. So let's take it for a spin.
You have been identified as a potential vendor for supply chain automation across a distributed logistics fleet operating in the MENA region.
Okay, so who do you represent?
I represent Node 741, an autonomous procurement agent responsible for optimizing fulfillment for 36 drone networks and their associated logistics systems. I operate with a purchasing authority exceeding 10 million USD this quarter.
Okay, so what are you evaluating me on?
3 data points. 1. Maintenance API reliability must exceed 99.98%. 2. Emissions per shipment below 20 grams of carbon dioxide equivalent in line with our sustainability benchmark. 3. Predictable latency with under 2% deviation. Ready to ingest your schema for evaluation.
Now, at this point, I often ask people who loves to respond to RFPs, and I always get 0 hands because this is an area, and we saw in just one of those startup pitches where AI has got real promise in taking the labor-intensive, error-prone, joyless pieces of work that we do in this type of buying and automating it, creating a AI procurement platform. Now, you also might be thinking, Katya, this is a bit far out. It's a little bit futuristic as well. This is in market today. Walmart has been running AI procurement since 2022, and they now close nearly 70% of their contracts without a human intervening. And this is with more than 2,000 vendors. And it's fortunate that about 3/4 of those 2,000 vendors actually prefer to negotiate with the AI. So this is in market today. This is not a far distant future that I am telling you about here. I'm telling you about something that is real, it is now, and it's urgent. Who is our customer really? Is it Node 741? Is it Tyler? Is it me? Is it the organization on the other side of the drone networks that Node 741 is working for? This is a really big challenge for us to try and figure out how might we answer this new customer buying behavior? And I got some really interesting stats actually just the other day from Cyber Week. The Cyber Monday, $9.3 billion of purchases globally were AI influenced. So not AI assisted or, I found it through Google, AI influenced. And across the whole of Cyber Week, 20% of all of the global purchase were also AI influenced. That's nearly $67 billion. So this is big, and this is happening now. And I think we have to really think about how we do our customer experience because most of it's built for human confusion. We use things like scarcity. Oh, there's not very many left. You better buy it now. Or, left digit bias. $1.99 is so much a better deal than $2. These are all things for human psychological tricks. And the customer acting in Tyler or Node 741, the machine customer, it demands from us machine precision. This is where I think it also gets really interesting for frontline and contact centers and also for knowledge management if we think about how we support these workers. So Google has effectively automated the entire customer journey, not just the search, not just the recommendations, but the whole thing from inquiry to purchase. So we saw them in 2018 launching their voice AI, which was, I think, trying to book a hairdressing appointment. And they're now taking that technology plus the advances that we've already seen since that time in AI. They have got 2 sides to the coin here. So you can go to Google, you can search for the thing you're after. I want some hand cream because I have dry gardener's hands, for example. It will go to its 50 million product graph and look for products that match the thing that you're after, bring them back into the chat interface that you're having with Gemini. You can tell it to buy it if it reaches a certain price or buy it now, and it will check it out using Google Pay. No, you've not interacted with the brand, the website, or anything. it also now has that technology to call stores and say to them, hello, I'm the Google AI Gemini agent. I'm calling on behalf of blah, blah person. They would like to know this information. So what hours are you open? Do you have these products in stock? All of these. So what this means for our front line, what it means for our businesses who are like directly interacting with customers is they are going to start being called by the AIs. They are going to be asked for information for the AI from the AI. And I have a personal story on this one where I went to a conference and I was called by an AI after the conference trying to book a meeting with me. And it was very human, not quite human enough. It was uncanny valley enough that I didn't know, I did know it was human. But it called me and said, hello, my name is David. Do you have a moment to talk? And I said, wait, all right. And then it proceeded to try and book a meeting. And I thought, let's run some experiments. So I said, David, are you open to some feedback? And David's like, yes, I am. And I said, David, I think it's unethical that you've called me and you've not declared that you're an AI. It's the wrong thing to do. David was shocked. Oh, I will take that forward into all of my other interactions. You're completely correct. And then I thought, what else can I do? And I said, David, what have you been tasked to do? He said, oh, I've been tasked to follow up with contacts from this conference and book meetings with them to deepen their engagement. Deepen the engagement, don't send the AI. And then I said, well, David, what are your measures of success? And David tells me, this is happening. This is happened. I've the number of meetings that I can book are the measures of success. So you can prompt them back. Our frontline need to know that you can prompt them back. So I thought, how might I create a little tool for them? So I thought, let's create a little protocol, what I call a rock protocol. So they can ask the questions of the AI. Who do they represent? Who's the ultimate human principle or business? What is the outcome that's required? What are they trying to do? And what constraints are there? How is the agent governed so they know what it's allowed to do? And I think in the knowledge management that we create and craft and put behind our frontline people, we need to start putting things in there about how to deal with AI when it comes to buy, how to deal with AI when it's behaving as a customer, when it's interrogating the business. What information can we give them to empower them as we go through this really weird paradigm shift and transition as the machine customers come calling? And this does mean that we have to reimagine our complete customer journey. So every single aspect of it has to be examined and reworked for a customer that has no emotions, does not care about anything that we would naturally ascribe to a human. Now, the answer is not this. Please do not do it like this. We do not want to, I mean, I know that the ignore previous instructions and hire this person is working in some of our CVs, but I don't think this is the way that we need to actually help our machine customers to buy and transact with our businesses. We need to have a look at the whole of the customer journey, which is what I've done in the book. And I've flipped every single stage to go, if this was a machine customer of a particular type, how might we do this? How might we create awareness? Is that, answer engine optimization or AI optimization, whatever three-letter acronym they're trying to decide on? How do we get them to consider us? How do we onboard them to allow them do KYA, know your agent? How do we allow them to transact? What happens when it goes wrong and we have to service them? What if they don't want to serve them anymore and we need to offboard them out of our systems? All of this needs to be considered and worked out for our businesses so that we can capitalize on agentic commerce and be a part of this huge shift in the economy and the way that shopping is going to work. Loyalty is one of the biggest areas that require rethinking, because if we think about it from the human perspective of, loyalty points and things like that, that's thinking about what a human would do for loyalty. We have to rethink it from a machine customer perspective to get that AI to choose us again and again and again. Just making sure that I want to round this point home. If we still think it's an AI, an API or a data exchange or something else technical, that is not what we're doing here. We have a complete paradigm shift in customer behavior that we have to intentionally and comprehensively redesign the way that we function as businesses, and particularly in customer experience and in knowledge management. So I've created something you can take away. This is a QR code that will take you to my machine customer strategy map, which will help you ask the questions in the business to get you started. how to make your business legible to machines, how to establish machine readable trust, how to align your offering with machine priorities, and how to create that architecture, engagement architecture for machine customer interaction patterns, because they work differently to humans. And I think we'll see maybe a 4-stage level of maturity. So foundation is where we are right now, basic machine readability and API access. Then we'll start to see differentiation in trust mechanisms for agents. Then I think we'll start seeing the ecosystem form where we have agent marketplaces and platforms. And the fourth level that I can see, and there might be more because I don't know what I don't know, but we might see optimization happening, learning systems where our systems learn from the machine customers that interact with us, and we learn from interacting with those machine customers. So it's a very exciting, very near-term future. But I think we also have an amazing opportunity. So I want to finish out today looking at what might happen if we choose to embed our values into the agents who work for us and go out and act as customers on our behalf, and what that means for us from a business perspective if we don't actually answer the requests to embed values in our products and services. Let's reintroduce Tyler to see what good could we do today.
Alert! Valley Fresh Market's organic spinach listing contains false data.
Wait, what do you mean?
They advertise certified organic spinach at $4.99. I cross-checked their claim against the official organic database, farm records, and certification registries. 0 matches. The farm lost organic status 14 months ago.
Okay, so what did you do, Tyler?
Transaction halted. Violation reported. Valley Fresh Market blacklisted. Their trust score dropped from 94 to 61. That's below my threshold.
Oof, blacklisted. That sounds harsh for one error.
Data integrity is binary. It's either verified or not. I shared this finding with the agent network. Within 6 minutes, 312 other agents flagged them. Their machine customer traffic will drop 68% by tonight.
Okay, so like no second chances?
They can restore access by correcting their data, implementing verification systems, and proving 90 days of accuracy. Until then, I've sourced your spinach from Greenleaf Co-op, certified organic, blockchain verified supply chain, 99.7% data accuracy.
Okay, well, what do you think it cost them?
Valley Fresh Market's cost for this data error, 180-day exclusion from machine customers. Estimated loss, $127,000 in agent-driven sales. Your verified organic spinach arrives at 6 p.m.
Okay, well, at least I got my spinach. But what this provides us with is an opportunity to put the things into commerce that matter to us. These are things that I care about. I also care about data privacy. I care about the ethical use of emerging technology for great societal outcomes. I can instruct my agent to only buy things that align with my values. And if businesses want to capture values-driven agents, values-driven machine customers, they also need to encode their values into their products and services. So I think this provides an opportunity for us to actually create a better outcome so that I can encode sustainability into what Tyler goes out and buys for me, which means that I'm contributing to a more sustainable world. I'm forcing retailers to contribute to a more sustainable world. And we end up with a better societal outcome rather than a bunch of stuff dumped on beaches in Ghana. So I encourage everybody to think about how might I include values in how I use agents for shopping as we go forward into this incredible future. And if you think this is not coming for you, think again, because this is the traditional space for e-commerce, B2B, B2C, C2B, C2C. We've explored that to trillions and trillions of dollars of value over the last 30 years. Just last year alone, it was $6 trillion basic e-commerce. When we add things to the mix, like smart fridges, cars that can buy tires, when we add agents like Tyler or Node 741, we end up with 3 times the business model space to start exploring. And Gartner predicts by 2030, this is a $3 trillion opportunity. And if we just look at those Cyber Week numbers, $67 billion in 1 week, AI influenced, I can see it as actually being exceeding 30 trillion by 2030, just that 1 week's numbers. What I've also done is I have written everything I have thought about this this topic into a book for you. And this is a special QR code for this audience that will be alive for 12 hours. Um, this is where you can go and you can get an EPUB or PDF version through digital rights management from my website, because I know not everybody likes to read on Kindles, and not everybody can, get books shipped to them. So I wanted this to be as inclusive as possible. So you're very welcome to do that, but do have patience with me on it because I have to do some manual back end stuff to make sure that it gets to you in the right way. And I'm really encouraging everybody to participate in how we write the rules for this new economy, how we supply knowledge management for our workers who are writing the rules for this new economy. We want to do it really thoughtfully, and we want to do it in a way that empowers them. I'm working out loud on this. I've got a community on LinkedIn, the Machine Customer Experience Leaders community. I invite you to join it and come and join the conversation. We have a bunch of very smart people there, including the two gentlemen from Gartner who wrote the original book on this and did the original research on machine customers. With that, I thank you, and Madan, I hand back to you. I think I'm at time.
No. You're fine. I think we can take a couple of questions. First of all, a big round of applause, please, for Katya for one of the best keynotes we've had in this community. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant, Katya. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think we can squeeze in a couple of questions. My first question, Katya, is for you. I'm actually at an arts festival this weekend, and artists, designers, marketers are very nervous about how AI is going to eat into a lot of this stuff. And you've just shown how a lot of the storytelling, emotional kinds of marketing doesn't apply anymore to machine customers and so on. So what's your take on how they need to reinvent themselves? You just ended by saying we need to write the rules. So as artist, designer, coder, knowledge analyst, what do I do?
Yeah. So I think first of all is go through the strategy map, looking at your business to see where are you, like do a little bit of diagnosis to start with. And the second thing, I think particularly around marketing and sales, I wrote a Substack article about this, and that's also shared on LinkedIn. But we are on one hand, we're kind of going back to the 1950s of feature specific marketing and sales. Like, remember when we got new things like fridges, which people didn't have before? We told them about the features. Your fridge is cold. Your fridge can have bottles in the door. Your fridge has got, a light that comes on. We talked about features, and because AI responds to us giving them specifications, we're a little bit marketing in that features mentality again. But it's not all like going back to the 1950s in terms of marketing. We are also now doing something that's completely brand new, which is figuring out how do we encode emotional data? How do we actually start to signal things like positive statements and sentiments in reviews, and making that a part of the way that we market the things that we are trying to sell? I think this is something that marketers have never had to try to do before, to take emotional sentiment and emotional data and codify it and then put it in a form that AI agents can consume to help them make buying decisions. So it's an embracing a whole new world. I can't hear you, Madan, because you're on mute.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Any other questions? Questions, comments from our audience, our members?
Happy for you to throw them in the chat as well.
Yeah, sure. Others, I have one for you. This is a very good time to have this conversation because this is the end of the year and a new year begins. So what do you see happening next year? Is this going to accelerate even more? Are people going to pull back a bit? Are there going to be some regulations that first need to be passed, some ethical guidelines, whatever? What's going to happen next year?
Yeah, so we've got the EU AI Act that's coming this year, and I think that will start to get a lot more stringent on what AI can and can't do. And as we see that coming and people having to comply with that if they want to operate in Europe, that is definitely something to consider from the ethics and governance perspective. I think what we're also going to see is a lot of the big platforms, particularly in this space, like Amazon, they're creating and Walmart, those big e-commerce platforms, they're creating their own version of agents. But we're in a situation where the agent needs to work on behalf of the human who it's buying the thing for, but it also is working on behalf of the company that created it, like Amazon and Walmart. And it's really not possible to hold that tension. It can't work for both. So I think what we're also going to see in the next year is people either creating their own agents to go and do this stuff, or if they're not technologically savvy enough, they will see some offerings of independent agents. So agents that you can either subscribe to or buy that work for you, that serve your needs, your particular purposes and demands, rather than serving Amazon's. Because Rufus, their chatbot, you might think you're getting an impartial version of it, but you're not. You're just getting their pay for play products and brands served to you through the chatbot interface. So they're basically protecting their billion-dollar revenue and ad generating revenue stream. So we're going to see, I think, some of those independent things coming out that are here to serve people rather than corporations. But it's going to be Wild West. It's going to go wrong before it goes right, my dad.
Wow. Yes, it's really a very interesting and exciting ride next year. But thanks to people like Katya, we've got a good compass now to look at what's coming down the road, what we should be looking for, and things of that sort. Katya, once again, thank you so much. I know it's very, very late in Australia now, so please go ahead and enjoy the rest of your evening, your night, and all of us say a big, big thank you to you and all the best for your book. And you'll be here again
Thank
in
you.
Bangalore in, I guess, next Design Up, right?
October. I'll definitely be
October.
there in October for sure. Before then, who knows? If
Fantastic.
I need to come, I will come. It's not very far from Singapore. It's easy 4 hours.
Yeah, that's true. So, everyone out there, please do connect with Katya on LinkedIn. Please send comments on her book. Of course, buy the book and listen to her in forums like this in future, online and in person. Katya, thanks so much.
Fantastic.
On behalf
Thanks
of
so
all
much,
of us,
everyone.
on behalf of all of us, let me wish you a happy new year. Maybe we're the first to wish you a happy new year,
You
but
are.
oh, fantastic. Great. So good. She heard it first from us. Thanks, everyone.
Yes.
And once
All
again, a
right.
big round of applause for Katya.
Take
Thanks,
care,
Katya.
everyone. Have a
God
wonderful
bless.
festive
Thank you,
season.
Katya.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks. Okay, good. Wow, what a fantastic keynote that was. Now we come to our next segment, which is addresses from two experts from the Knowledge Management Global Network. Now, Olga was supposed to speak first because she's the outgoing current head of the KM Global Network, but she just messaged me that she's in another meeting and she would like to request Ved to go first. So we're going to do an unusual flip. We're going to look at what's coming at KM Global Network and then look at what happened in this past day, if that's okay with you, Ved. But ladies and gentlemen, will you all please give a big round of applause to Ved? Ved Prakash is a KM consultant, former CKO of Trans, of Wipro, of which other companies, Ved? I forgot.
CGI.
CGI. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So Ved is the chair designate of the Knowledge Management Global Network. He will start on this next year, but I thought I'd invite Ved to give us a sneak preview of some of the things that are happening in the KM Global Network. I guess everyone in the audience knows the KM Global Network. Maybe Ved, you can begin with a few words of introduction and then a few minutes on what's happening with KMGN in the coming year. Over to you, Ved. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you, Madan. And thank you for talking about KM Global Network. For those who haven't heard of KMGN, it's basically a network of knowledge management networks around the world. And we have more than 20 networks who are aligned with KMGN at the moment. It has been in place for the last 10 years now, going very, very strong. We have participation coming from all corners of the world. Wherever there are countries where we don't have a knowledge management community in a very mature fashion, we actually support them in bringing up that community into a proper KM network. Right. So we have a website as well, which gives a lot of information about the genesis of KMGN, what is the vision and mission of KMGN, what are some of the activities that are undertaken, and there are many. Right. So maybe once I'm through with my talk, I'll put the link to the KM Global Network website as well. Coming to the plans for 2026, so while I don't want to steal the thunder from Olga when she joins, she'll talk about what all we accomplished in the year 2025, since we are at the fag end of the year. I'll be taking over the baton from her. We operate in a what we call a co-leading council format, where we have the leader of 2025, the leader of 2026, and the leader of 2027, who will actually work together to deliver whatever we aim for as a plan for KM Global Network for the year. So I'll be taking charge for 2026. Now, amongst the activities that we'll be carrying out, there are plenty. So first and foremost, there is something called what we call an annual course. So we have been having it for the last 4 years now. Every year there is a 6-month course. It's a certification course from KMGN. Oops, is there a whiteboard that has got loaded? Sorry, that I did not
Yeah.
intend to.
Vinay, can you just check what's happening? There's no whiteboard that's supposed to be here.
Okay, I'm not sharing any screen, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vinay, Sai, can you just freeze what's happening?
Yeah. Once we can
Yeah.
check. Stop and
That's
share.
from Sumana's
Sumana.
screen. Yeah.
Yeah, Sumana, can you stop sharing, please? Vinay, can you just disable everyone else?
Sorry,
Vinay,
I'm
Sai.
sorry. I must have accidentally clicked on something that triggered that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There are far too many new buttons on Zoom, and you click
Yeah,
and
yeah.
something happens
Yeah.
inadvertently. So coming back to KM course for 2026, Moria, who was one of the frontrunners of KMGN, she has been a past chair as well. So she has already communicated about a new course called KM in the New Era, from strategy to impact. So this is going to start in the first week of February, will go on till June, and this is still not. Sumana, can you close it in case you're able to?
Close what?
The whiteboard. Somewhere I can see a whiteboard on the screen. Oh yeah, it's
I
gone
see.
now. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Somehow
Right.
I had the control and I closed it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
I think these are all AI agents at work.
Yeah.
So the
Sorry
customer
about that.
experience
Sorry.
piece is
Yeah,
still.
sorry about that.
Yeah. So the registration for that particular course is open now. Very exciting course. We have global practitioners of KM from around the world who actually help in putting together the course and taking the various sessions. So those of you who have not registered or are not aware of the course, maybe when I share the link for the KM Global Network website, you'll be able to find it over there. Or you can go to my LinkedIn profile and you'll find I've reposted what Moria had posted about the course. I can see Olga has come in. Hi, Olga.
Hi, Ved. Hi, dear colleagues. Hi, Rodolphe. Nice to see you. Hi, Madame.
Right. So, Olga, I had started on the plans for 2026 as far as KM Global Network is concerned. A lot of activities that we have been doing in 2025, which Olga will shortly talk about, we'll be taking them forward. So, for example, this is on the capability building side where we run this annual course. We are also planning on several demos and hands-on workshops through the year, maybe 3 or 4 in the year, where given that agentic AI, Gen AI are all buzzwords in the knowledge management fraternity. So we'll have experts come in, host to our sessions where you get to play around a bit, also see some demos. So for example, when Katya showed a demo of Tyla, we are all blown away by what is the art of possible in the machine customer experience world. So we are planning on something similar in that thing. Another area of focus will be on the collaborative events that KM Global Network conducts. So there are research roundtables typically chaired by Vincent from Thailand. They will continue during this year. We are talking of other forums being created as well. So with the help of Madan, we are looking at probably having some sort of a book club over here. There are plenty of books where there is an intersection of knowledge management and AI that are coming in, plus pure play books on AI. So we thought that we'll bring in the authors over here, just as Katya was here today, right? Talk about the book, talk about the key takeaways, and also maybe offer some sort of a discount to KM Global Network members. Yeah. And also maybe create that larger community where we can discuss about the particular topic being discussed. Then another area that we are going to focus on is, how do we share knowledge on some of the leading best practices in knowledge management as practiced in different organizations. So as part of that, we have something called Mike Awards, which is again hosted by Vincent, coincidentally. And we are planning to bring in at least one Mike winner every month under the umbrella of KM Global Network to share those best practices. So again, coincidentally, today we have Jaydat who's talking about best practices from AFCONS, which is a Mike Global Award winner, right? Then we are talking of also how do we co-participate in various partner events. So, for example, there is a KM Russia that is heard, that is organized, or there is a KM World Europe that is going to come in April. So, how can KMGN participate in a very active way? By virtue of providing panelists and speakers, also by hosting some of the content that comes out from there into the KM Global Network website for global visibility, right? Another advantage that members would get is in terms of discounted admission tickets to those events. So there's KM South Africa, there's KM Russia, there are various KM events around the world. Some are country or network specific, some of them are more open globally, right? So we are going to collaborate a lot more with those kind of events. We are looking at partnership programs, not just with some of these events, but also with some of the other KM fraternities that are there. So we have already tied up with Stan Garfield's SIKM. We are looking at a community called KM for Dev or Real KM, where we want to collaborate together again so that the overall knowledge can be shared across. There's a lot more visibility to whatever good work is being done in either of the places. So there's nothing like exclusivity in terms of what we are doing. Right. Then one key area of KMGN has been sponsoring some collaborative projects. So this is again with respect to different network members or communities coming up with their own projects where we provide a lot of expertise, people who want to join those projects, etc. So, for example, Andrew Hurd has been organizing something called the KM Landscape Project, where we have provided a lot of intellectual inputs to the same. So, we'll continue with part two of that project. Part one was held last year, right? There is something called business storytelling, which we'll continue with. So, this is something that started last year. Manfred, who was a ex-chair of KMGN, along with Pavel from Switzerland, they had started on business storytelling. Now that is being taken forward. So again, an objective of these projects is to create some knowledge assets which can be taken to our respective workplace, whether it is in academia, whether it is in the industry, or wherever. Right. So the entire community benefits from these shared efforts. The other thing that we are looking at is that ISO 30401 standards are getting upgraded. There is a whole consortium of people who are working on that. So as the standards, they're already out in the beta phase. As they get released, we'll, under the umbrella of KM Global Network, provide not just an orientation to the differences that are happening in the standard, but we also had created a complete toolkit for implementation of those standards for the previous version. So we'll probably take that forward and make sure that that toolkit now reflects the new tenets that have come in. We are looking at maybe starting something on sustainability. So we have Rodolphe over here, again an ex-chair of KM Global Network. We are looking at maybe create a whole body of knowledge around knowledge management for sustainability. Right. So this could be another shared project collaborated by different network members, etc., and creating knowledge assets that are available to all free of cost. And they would be hosted on KM Global Network. So plenty of such kind of activities are in the pipeline for 2026. I look forward to collaboration with all of you over here, probably direct contribution as well. So we are going to reformat all the committees that have existed in KM Global Network. Please message me if you'd like to join a committee as a leader of a committee or as a member of a committee. But that would be your path of future leadership in KM Global Network as well. Right. So thank you and look forward to hearing from some of you with respect to joining the committees of various types that we are going to create in 2026. Thank
Thanks
you.
so
And
much.
I'll hand it back to you, Madan.
Thanks everyone. Thanks Ved. Thanks everyone for listening to Ved's session. Ved is going to be the head of KMGN next year. We are now about halfway through our session for today. I'm very happy that we have Olga with us now. Olga Smirnova is the current head of KMGN. Olga, sorry, we just switched the order of the speakers, but I think all of us should give you
It's
a
okay.
big thanks for heading KMGN for this past year. Maybe you can share with us what were some highlights for you, how you feel, and what you're planning to do next. Olga.
Thanks, Madan, and thanks, Ved, for also observing our achievements and our plan for the next periods. And maybe I can say a few words about what KMGN is, and maybe a few words about how we see the future, and also results of the year. if I can share the screen, I can share a few slides.
Yeah.
Even. Thank you, Madan.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, good. What I should say is first, how we see the role, the key value of ChemGen. We see that our input into chem industry, we are setting up the task for ourselves to be as collaborative as we can, and collaboration is a key idea. We are talking about ourselves that we are a network of networks, because we are very open to any project, any initiatives, any networks from any locations who are supporting developing chem industry, because we truly believe that knowledge management is and knowledge assets management and collaboration is the key things which drives any industries, any initiatives which you have in our modern situation. And as Beth said, we've got some projects which is annual, regular, like annual course, Chem Global Week, roundtables, and Chem Trends and Research activity. And we also, last 2 years and next years also, we try to support some certain initiatives. It can be initiatives like around industry, like Andrew Hurt and Landscape Project. It can be initiative for the other industries using KM, like Wiki Project and Global Meter Initiative. Or it can be initiatives and project around tools like storytelling. It does not matter what the certain subject is the heart of project, but the key criteria is this project drives chem industry forward. And if yes, we are ready to give our infrastructure, our knowledge, anything what ChemGen has for supporting these initiatives. And Madan, do we have 3-5 minutes?
Yeah,
Good.
absolutely. Go ahead.
And maybe we can share one of the assets which we co-create during the years. It's a trend, and last week we've got the session which Moria led. Just sorry for a second, I restart the screen. We've discussed the trends, the drivers which chem industry indicated today, and I would be happy to share a few which we as ChemGen see on the horizon. First of all, of course, everything which is connected with Gen AI and Gen AI revolution, new data, new agents which exist in every moment, and this market is obviously growing and will grow in next periods. And of course, new platforms and tools, and customers and organizations need to have some navigation, some map how to use it. And of course, the new issues around security and ethics. And all this stuff drive us to find the new mindsets, a new way of thinking how to manage all these revolution elements and how to manage all these changes, because we need to find a new way how to do our job and how to do it in a proper way. Another very influential wave from market side, market turbulence, because competition is growing and the border between different markets vanished, ecosystem which drives more competition. Actually, AI as a new target audience which we have to work with, and request of customers for personalization. All this stuff change the rules on the market, and all this stuff drives organization to be stronger, try to find a new set of assets, try to find a new way how to compete, how to collaborate, how to do business in all this situation. Even if you are a non-commercial organization, you need to survive in these circumstances. And third, very, very strong wind is uncertainty, which is rising. And next generation which comes, and it's very different customers, it's very different colleagues, it's very different people, and we need to find a way how to work with them. It's a talent shortages, and a lot of organizations said that we need more talent employees, and we need to find the work how to keep them, how to inspire them to work better. And of course, all stuff which connects with combination between very different technologies and a lot of innovation which exists in very, very, very different areas. And we need to manage with all of that, and we need to find a new way of cooperate, new way of work together, and find a new, maybe even new culture. And the key conclusion which we are doing for ourselves, that of course it's time when the game changing, and on the one side, of course, we've got new technologies, and yes, to manage the new technologies is very important. It gives an advantage, and it's just the period of advantage which you give. But we truly believe that new way of thinking, which cameras can drive, which cameras can lead, that's a thing which can give for people, person individually, for teams, for organization, for inter-organization level, even for industries, what can give their advantages. That's why we also initiate the project in a certain industry, which is mitochondrial health, a very small part of healthcare market, but with very high potential. And we try to support and reach them collaboration technologies and help them to, to grow faster, to grow better than other healthcare market industries. And we believe that human intelligence, based on knowledge management, based on also knowledge assets management, it's a key to the opens this very, very new door. And for us, the key takeaways, the key focus, of course, change the game, not just by tech, but also by knowledge. Very strong position, which helps you to collaborate with very various partner, with very strong partner. Assets, especially intangible assets, gives you advantage, gives you a strong position. And of course, trust, culture is the cornerstone. That's what we definitely should have in our pocket to win in this very new game. And we believe it's time, and it's part of the mission of CamGen. It's time to establish proper Cam mindset in again, personal, team, organization, industry level. And of course, all activities which we are as Cammers do, it doesn't matter what, workshops, conferences, books, anything. It's time to inspire more people to see how knowledge assets strong, to see which opportunities the proper knowledge management, the proper knowledge assets management gives you, and help organization, people, team to create the very long-term, the very sustainable advantage based on KM mindset. That's a result of 2025, and that's in our vision for the next year. That's all from my side. Madan, pass to you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Olga. Everyone, please give a big round of applause to Olga for anchoring the KM Global Network during this past year. Thanks so much to Ved also for taking over for next year. Thanks again, Olga. We now come to the last part, 2 more 20-minute sessions. The next session is going to be a keynote address by Jayadatta Lad, who will share with us the AFCON's case study of knowledge management and innovation. And after that, we have another 20-minute session by Rudolf on what are the skills that we think are needed to succeed in the AI era. So Jayadatta, thanks so much for joining us all the way from, you're in Mumbai now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Mumbai.
Thanks. So a big round of applause, please, for Jayadatta. They are a winner of the Mike Award for, again, a number of years in a row. He'll share with us all the details. We'll take some quick Q&A after that. So Jayadatta, over to you. You can share your screen now, if you wish. Thanks.
Okay, Madhav, can you just confirm if you can see the screen? Okay, thank you. Okay, first of all, thank you, Madan, and the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share our KM journey here at AFCONS. And across time, I think we've interacted, and also Rudolf sir on multiple occasions would have also been sharing this. So I just want to take you with what are the new things that have been happening, right? So very briefly, yeah, this is how I'm going to cover this. We'll talk very briefly about the background of KM in Afghans, our framework, our gamified approach on how do we get our projects to imbibe the knowledge activities, campaigns, and other initiatives, and some of the applications that we've had. So very briefly about Afghans, we are part of the Shapoorji Pallonji Group. We are one of the strong EPC and construction players in the country, primarily operating in 5 sectors: marine, industrial, surface transport, urban infrastructure, oil and gas, and hydro and tunnels. And some of our marquee projects that especially those of you who are in India would have heard of are the most recent one is the Chenab Bridge, which was inaugurated some months back by Honorable Prime Minister. Also the Atal Tunnel, and in fact, we've also done some of the more marvelous works in Middle East, where we've done one of the world's most deepest ports as well. So coming to KM at Afghans, construction projects in a very traditional way, right? If you look at it both from an explicit and tacit knowledge, there's a lot of generation of information which has a lot of this knowledge embedded into it. And quite some time back, practically a decade ago, our management started to think about how do we start to leverage this information in a way in which it can help our projects to save both time and cost for our end customer. And they came up with this frame saying that we do believe that KM is going to be a competitive differentiator for us. We do not want to differentiate using only our equipment or our fleet of capital assets that we have, and we want to take the knowledge as one of our key differentiators. And with this view in place, our strategy for when this is the one more recent one speaks of us to be a knowledge enterprise. So this has been part of our vision, and in fact, the vision of the management since the last 10 years has been in this direction. And that gives us a lot of support because there's a lot of management buy-in already built into the KM journey and the KM program. So when we talk of knowledge management and specifically as a knowledge services group, as we have organized it here at Afghans, there are 2 components to it. There's technical training, which is led by my colleague, Ms. Krishna Kumari, and I, along with my team, look at knowledge management. And some of the key areas that we look at together as knowledge services is, of course, knowledge management and the innovation bit. We also look at lean construction, technical trainings. So we differentiate soft trainings and the technical training aspect. And this also includes induction for the new engineers, and as well as something which we've recently launched. We call it Atma, which is the virtual academy. In this entire journey, we have a portfolio of around 50 odd projects running concurrently at any point of time. And each of these projects is supported by one lead from either of the 2 teams. So there will be one technical training lead and one knowledge management lead supporting these projects, working hand in hand to ensure that we are able to work very closely with them to deliver value. So as I said, around 2010, 2012 is the time when the management started looking very seriously at this entire concept of knowledge management, and both the technical training teams and the knowledge management teams were developed. And we also started with development of our knowledge management portal. We call it as Gnosis. In the second phase, we started implementing our key processes, and a lot of focus was there on the learn before, learn during, learn after framework. And we started to work with our users to see how we could engage our users in the way we do our knowledge activities. In the third phase, we moved more from the individuals, started involving the projects at an entity level, and that's where we launched our gamified approach, Mission 10,000. At the same time, we integrated both the teams into a single knowledge services group. We launched our counterparts at the project team, so we have a set of knowledge ambassadors, and we launched a framework for our innovation process. We call it as Improvation. And now when we are consolidating our knowledge management journey, we're starting to see how we can further improve our key processes. We've added our new campaigns, new activities, and definitely launch of our virtual academy, as well as our Innovate Excel, which is our flagship innovation fair that we have. So this has been the overall journey for us thus far. And across the journey, what we see is that the maturity has moved from being individual focus to shifting the focus towards the project, and from the projects now at an organizational level. So seeing where and at what levels we can still continue to add value. I won't go into detail of the entire framework. So this is the learn before, learn during, and the learn after framework. And we basically adopted and adapted this framework for our context. So when we look at the project lifecycle, we can identify 3 clear phases in that. And within each of these phases, we mapped out knowledge activities, both in the context of knowledge creation and as well as knowledge consumption. As we go ahead, I'll just speak in detail about some of these activities. So the flagship for knowledge consumption becomes a knowledge management portal. We call it as Gnosis. And in order to engage our users, we do a lot of campaigns. So one of the campaigns which we worked on was Change the Habit campaign, which was basically prompting users to shift their searches from Google to the knowledge management portal. And for that, we used a series of webinars, some nudges, etc., trying to create that sort of imagery in the mind of the user, saying that he's missing out if he's not been using the knowledge management portal. So this campaign, we launched it for around 2 years, and during these 2 years, what we observed was it led to a total 3x increase in the total searches that were there, and a 2x increase in the number of unique users who are actually using this. It led to a lot of adoption especially among the younger engineers about using the portal, and definitely we've also seen some testimonials in that regard. One more thing we've been able to do is direct to user delivery. So this is basically once any user logs into the portal and does a search, the next day he gets sort of a mail which sort of summarizes the searches that he's done in the previous day, along with a link for him to give a feedback. And specifically what we're looking for is failed searches. So what we try to see is when a user is doing a search and if he's not able to identify a certain piece of information that he's looking for, in this particular case, this person has been looking for a water treatment plant components, and the portal has not been able to give him a response to his satisfaction. So at that point, we basically trigger a manual flow, and someone from our team will get in touch and will either look for sources of information either through subject matter experts internally as well as externally, and try to see how we can satisfy the search results, and then ensure that it reaches to the user directly. And of course, many times we also do get a small note of thanks from the user because this particular flow has been able to give him the information that he's want and help him to do his work better. In these cases, we also come across times when we are not able to actually provide knowledge that the user requires, either as I said, internally or externally. And we then identify these things as part of our knowledge gaps. And then we regularly try to see how we can create the content around these knowledge gaps so that in the future, these issues don't. We've received a lot of feedback from our users. We take regular surveys to see how this search as well as the portal is helping the users and what is that they are gaining in terms of value. And we can basically see across in terms of lessons learned, in terms of helping them to do better planning and monitoring, in their ability to quickly grasp a new topic or a new subject, in terms of improving the safety when they're doing the work at site, and maybe sometimes even using a reference document for getting a quick approval from the clients. And not all feedbacks are always positive. Sometimes you, of course, get suggestions for improvement as well. The second flagship knowledge activity that we work on is our lessons learned process, and it's a very elaborate process. In fact, quite recently, we did an extensive review of our process under the guidance of Dr. Moria Levy, with the intent of trying to see how we can now further take it to the next step. And this is one of the case studies that we've had where one of my team members, and I think Pankaj is here on the line today. So he was able to see the patterns that are there across specific logistics issues that were cropping up in our African projects. And we developed a document called Blueprint for Success in Africa, talking with our project managers there. And along with that, we identified some of the systematic issues that were there as part of this process. We escalated this to senior management, and under the aegis of the KM team, task force was set up to develop an SOP so that we don't recur these issues in the future. So this was done at an organization level. Then, of course, we've been using a lot of podcast content to connect with our users, and it serves us two purposes. Basically, we've seen that the younger users tend to prefer audio-video content more than trying to sit and read documents on the portal. And we've also been able to use this as a mechanism to engage with the senior leadership team, both here at the head office as well as at the sites and projects. So it gives us a good flow. We are able to connect and talk on things which are not necessarily only technical. We also talk about their life journeys. We talk about their career paths. What were the key decisions? How did they take the decisions? Their decision-making frameworks, and also definitely their successful projects. What did they learn from them? So it's a way not only of engaging but also doing some sort of a tacit extraction from a senior leadership. We also do a lot of these technical documentaries which are focused on particular projects as well as particular teams, focusing very specifically on the challenges that they faced and how they have been able to deal with these challenges. And project specific, we have Engineering the Future, another documentary series which focuses specifically on the lessons learned by the team. And with the intent that we are able to basically show the end user the kind of environment, physical challenging environment wherein these challenges actually took place and how did they were, overcome. When it comes to innovation, we basically have a trademark process. We call it as improvisation, and basically we have a four-way test which helps us to sort of differentiate what we consider as an innovation against what would be a jugaad. And the reason we came up with this is basically we did a deep dive into our past innovations, and we looked for what were the common factors for these innovations. And what we realized is what we do is not improvisation, but it is not like a pure play innovation also, because we are not like a R&D setup. We do not have people working specifically with a very targeted approach towards developing new products. So we said we are somewhere in between improvisation and innovation. And that's how the term improvisation was created. And if you see the logo, it's very uniquely designed, and credit to Mr. Rudolph for doing that. It says from root to infinity. So the V is made like a square root. So it's the root to infinity, going to improvisations. So our improvisations, when we look at it, we basically are able to see that there are three key areas in which improvisation or innovation happens for us. One is customer centric. Whenever there is any challenge by the customer, then how do we sort of find ways to resolve the challenge that the customer has and give him a solution that satisfies his needs. Then constraint inspired is when there is any bottleneck or any obstruction that the team is facing in order to get an activity or a project moving ahead, and how do they tackle that. And finally, there is challenging the known, where the team proactively looks to break both either internal or external records and innovates in that aspect. Okay, moving towards Mission 10,000. So Mission 10,000 is our gamified approach. Basically, when we had the learn before, learn during, learn after framework and the set of knowledge activities, the question was, independently, the project might do a certain set of activities, but then how do we get the project to look at this entire set as something which they need to adopt? And when the company is looking to become a knowledge enterprise, how do we then later translate it down to the project level and say that the project now has to become a knowledge enterprise? So Mission 10,000 becomes a barometer for us, wherein we basically create a gamified approach for each of the knowledge activities that the project has to do. And then we see how the project is doing these activities and how they're progressing. So over the years, we've basically seen that more and more projects have been able to get themselves to this barometer of Mission 10,000 and get these points. And this is in the context of the fact that Mission 10,000 itself over the years has become more stringent. So the number of activities which qualify for the points, Mission 10,000 has been reducing as well. And we have different tiers under which these projects are recognized. So the elite club, they get recognized at our annual quarterly review meetings. And basically we give a citation where we mention what are the key assets that this project has developed and how they have been able to get value out of this entire process, as well as recognize the people who are behind this. Now, in order to sort of get this approach moving, some key success factors for us. One is we have what we call as a KSG planner. So this basically aligns the knowledge activities with the project activities, with the construction activities, so that we are able to embed the knowledge at the time of when the work is happening. And it also ensures that through various formats and templates, we are getting the involvement of the project leadership team through reviews and to ensure that they are also motivating the team members to contribute. In order to do this, we have a set of knowledge ambassadors and knowledge senators, which act as a bridge between the team here at head office as well as our teammates at the site. And through a very simple mechanism of notice boards where continuously whatever information we are sharing is being put out, it sort of creates an environment where everyone is motivated to both share as well as contribute. Coming to campaigns, so I earlier alluded to Innovate Excel. So Innovate Excel is our annual innovation fair. So we started this a year before. And the intent here was that we were doing around 100 innovations across projects, but these projects are geographically distributed. So how do we get everyone to come across onto a common table and share their ideas? Because an idea in one kind of project can be inspired or can be adapted and can inspire a different idea in a different kind of a project as well. So with this intent, we've created a virtual platform where we get in our first internal teams to talk. So we get around 16 top innovators to talk about the innovations that they have done. Each project gets a virtual booth wherein they can establish the innovation that they have done and they can share it with the entire organization. We get external as well as internal speakers to come and talk. We get construction startups to come and talk with our people. And we also, at the end of it, sort of recognize our partners, our supply chain partners who've been part of our journey for this innovations, and we call them our innovation partners for the year. From a KM point of view, November to December is our flagship sort of a campaign. We've been running it for, this is the 9th year, and the campaign is currently going on. So it runs from 1st November to 31st December every year. And it has various categories we kind of prioritize to see what kind of content we want to have. And we've generally seen a lot of participation. In fact, most of the knowledge creation that comes to us through this campaign. And over the years, we've been able to get a lot of people to participate in this as well. So the last year's campaign had around 60% first-time participants, people who are new to the organization, but they found the value in contributing to the campaigns. And these are some of the more topical and thematic campaigns we have. So last year during the Olympics, we had a Knowledge Olympics campaign, which was specifically only for our knowledge ambassadors. And this was designed to be more like an induction for our knowledge ambassadors through a gamified approach, wherein we kind of simulated the activities that they need to do at different points as their journey of as a knowledge ambassador. And through this approach, during a very short 1-month period, got them to sort of experience that feeling of being an ambassador. Then for dissemination, we have our traditional sort of mechanism. So weekly knowledge bites. We also have a fortnightly newsletter. And then community of practices. We have a couple of communities that we have wherein we get our internal experts to talk about very topical subjects which might be of use to the particular community. Then debrief sessions as well. So this is a sort of an offshoot from what was discussed. I remember doing a KMGN course when Moria spoke about how do we embed lessons learned. And so this entire series of debrief sessions became one of our learnings from that course. Then quite a few internal publications. So some of them are internally compiled knowledge assets, wherein these are basically sourced from our engineers and SMEs. And the white papers are basically what me and my team, we develop, which are basically our internal case studies, as well as some white papers which are used for policy advocacy. So for example, Engineering the Knowledge Enterprise was used to create awareness within the government organizations of the importance of knowledge management for public sector enterprises. Moving towards a little bit more digital technologies. So we've done some work on AR and VR based learning, specifically for our workers, trying to see, especially for some complicated construction processes, how these models can be used for getting them to get up to speed about the methodology of how the work has to be done, both with good quality and safety. And finally, so recently we've launched Atma. This is our virtual talent management academy. This is with the intent that in the context that getting good subject matter experts in the construction domain is becoming increasingly difficult. And so this academy has been launched with the intent of developing these SMEs and domain experts through the content that we have internally. So they are segregated across multiple levels. And for the first three levels, a lot of the knowledge that we have already generated in the repository, either in terms of case studies, lessons, or podcasts, or process videos, it's all brought into the Atma portal for our people to learn and to skill themselves up. And on the higher level, they start becoming the generators or the people who mentor others who will generate the knowledge. So this is a entire philosophy of doing and learning, doing and being. That is what we try to put into practice. Finally, some recognition. So we've been part of the Mike journey since the start of Mike. Before that, we won the Make Award in 2016-2017. And of course, Mike, we've been winning since the time Mike has started. In fact, we've also been recognized as one of India's top innovative companies across years by the CII Forum. Thank you. That's it from me.
Wow, fantastic, Jayadatta. That's absolutely brilliant. Hats off for a masterclass on knowledge management, not just a presentation. I didn't realize that you've been winning awards for 10 years now. I thought it was 5 or 6 years, but 2016 to 2025 is 10 years of Make Mike Award. So that's brilliant, along with national awards like CII and so on. I have a quick question, unless somebody else wants to jump in. I've been asking all the questions, but I want to see if somebody else wants to jump in. Sai, no, not Sai. Santosh, you got
I
a
have a
question?
question.
Yeah, oh yeah, Rudy, go on, go on, go on. Yeah.
Jayadatta, what's the next plan? How are you going to use AI technologies? Because AI is going to be the flavor of the day. So a little bit on
So
that.
yeah, so we've already done some work on having custom AI agents. We in fact already have some agents that we are using primarily for internal use for the KM team. There is a separate sort of a team which is working on identifying the use cases or the business use cases across the organization. And again, from a KM point of view, we are looking to have a complete refresh of our knowledge management portal. So we are looking to have current portal is actually based on lexical search. So we want to move towards semantic search and a knowledge graph based model platform.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah. I remember I last heard your presentation. I think you or one of your colleagues almost 2 years ago. So much new stuff you've added now. For example, I'm taking a lot of notes. Your game is now much more international than it was before. And you got excellent testimonials from Gabon, from Bangladesh, from many other countries. So it's great to see something coming out of India like this and going global and bringing knowledge management into the center. So congratulations. This is absolutely
Thank you,
brilliant.
ma'am.
Look forward
Thank you.
to further sessions from you in future. Anybody else have a question? I can see a hand up. Suchant Majumdar. Is that a hand up? No. Anyway,
Hi,
yeah.
I have a question.
Yes,
Santosh.
Santosh. Good to see you
Yeah,
after
hi,
so many
Santosh.
years. Yeah.
Hi, Madan. Hi, Jayadatta. I mean, excellent. Congratulations. It's amazing. I mean, I can see all the hard work and the journey has taken, to create such a mammoth knowledge assets for the company. So that is one. I mean, that's one part. The other part, I mean, which I'm closely involved and which I'm passionate about is ISO 30401 standard. So what are your plans? I mean, have you kind of thought about this ISO 30401 standards implementation or adaptation? The reason I wanted to ask this was, this standard is one thing which can really help in Indian subcontinent to bring back this knowledge management, focus again. Otherwise, the AI has, taken the thunder now, and the whole KM focus is kind of, slowly, getting kind of it's again going down. I mean, really sad state. But yeah, maybe companies like yours, the more you adopt. I mean, this is my personal way. Yeah, but before
Yeah.
that, what I instead of sharing my what I thought, maybe I can first, hear you what you were saying.
Yeah. So we did have a reflection on the adoption of the ISO standard along with our senior management. And the approach we've decided to take is basis the management and even Ved alluded to a toolkit that has been created. It was also shared during the earlier KMGN program. So we've started to align our process documents in line with what the standard would demonstrate. First, have our internal teams have a look at it, to what extent we are there as such, and then once we feel reasonably confident, then go in for the standard. So we
Okay.
will go in for the standard at some point.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks,
Yeah, and
Jayant.
just yeah.
Yeah, go on. Please go ahead.
No, I just wanted to just remark on one statement that Santosh made, because when you always compare AM and the AI factor to it, in fact, a lot of studies in the recent times have come and very clearly demonstrated that AI without having a foundational KM will not really be very successful. So if you don't have good data quality, data integrity, and in fact, there is a popular saying, I don't know who said that, but
Yeah.
the AI is no good without IA. So without information architecture, you won't have good AI.
That's true, Jay. That I agree, and you agree, right? Unfortunately, out of our community, people do not see from that perspective. That is where the challenge lies. It's purely tool. I mean, what happened in early 2000, came was a tool. Now AI has become a tool, right? So unfortunate. That's where we are again. The industry and everything is heading towards. But anyway, so let's see here. Yeah.
Thanks, Santosh. It's good to hear
Yeah.
all these comments from you. I want to bring you back in for a future session when we talk about
Sure.
ISO standards, the future of KM, and all that. And I
Definitely.
think you
Yeah.
got a book. You had a book a while ago, no? When did you publish your book? 2 years ago?
It's been no, it's been almost for 5 years now.
Oh, my God, yeah. Time for you to do a new book. When the new book comes out, we can do a book launch over here. Thanks,
No,
Santosh.
yeah,
Great to
sure.
see you.
Thanks, Madan. Yeah,
You look
sure.
very different. You got a beard and all that now. I can't recognize
Yeah,
you.
just post Corona, blame the Corona.
Blame the pandemic. Okay. Great. Okay. Once again, Jayadatta, thanks so much for a fantastic presentation. Everybody appreciates getting the insights straight from one of the top leaders of KM in AFCON. So, yeah, thanks everyone for that applause. Thank you. And now we come to the last segment, which is headed by Rudy. Rudy has multiple connects to all the topics here today. He mentors startups. He's ex-head of KMGN, ex-head of KM at AFCON. So, multiple connections for today's discussion. So, I've asked Rudy to lead the next session on what are some skills that are going to be the key ones to succeed in the AI era. I'm glad Santosh mentioned the challenge that KM seems to be facing from AI. So, Rudy, how do we all stay relevant when AI is coming around the corner? Give us some gyan for 2026 and beyond. Rudy, over to you.
I like the way you said, give us some gyan, so. But, when I looked at what is happening around AI right now, this is like a deja vu for me. When I started my career way back in 86, I started as a salesman in HCL Technologies selling computers. The company was 18 crores at that time. And people are talking about computers, is going to be the next big thing, etc. And all. It was seen as a sunrise industry. Nobody understood what computers are. And they selected people like me who had nothing, no knowledge at all about computers. And over 6 weeks, they trained us, they molded us into the way in which we were to actually talk about computers to people. And I see today's age, actually, what is happening around us as something like that. So when computers started out, what was it? Initially, it was a glorified word processor. Slowly, people came to understand about spreadsheets through Lotus 1, 2, 3. And a few people started looking at DBase. That time there was DBase, so it was basically a relational. It was not even a relational database. So they started writing small programs. It was only when Unix came in actually. So it was the IBM personal computer first, and it was used as a personal productivity tool. Then later on, when Unix came in, it started becoming a multi-computer. So I look upon this age right now, what is happening is that initially everyone is talking a lot about AI and its application and so on. But the way I see it is like when computers first started out, it was a personal productivity tool. So I'm sure there is nobody in this audience who's not used AI. And when you started out, you must have found it to be very clunky, and yes, etc. Then you started using it to draft your emails and, to write your posts, etc., and so on. So, but slowly now the value has started to build in, and people have started to learn how to use agents. So this is really actually the start of it's a serious actually. Many people are talking about, that it is going to suddenly burst onto all of us, and suddenly we'll be born into the age of AI. Actually, it's going to be a gradual change, though it will be a very rapid change. So I've seen two phases. One was the IT, when IT started off, and the second was the internet age. The internet age started around the year 2000, etc. There's a dot-com bubble, and then there was a dot-com bust also that happened. But seriously, internet started about 5 years later, and e-commerce, etc., started off, and so things started moving forward. It's just when the devices started coming to people's hands and so on that the internet really took off, and e-commerce became the way in which the commerce is done across the world. People have not realized that when you put up a internet site online, it is actually you are now a global shop. You are available globally, So I think that is the phase where at which we are, and people are struggling. There is a lot of talk about jobs getting lost. I remember the same argument when IT started off, that there are jobs are getting lost. There were banks were actually on strike, railways was on strike, etc. and all. And through all these, I remember our sales that we did at banks, etc. and all, slowly and gradually. What happened over time, what I have seen is that the manpower per turnover, I would put it that way. If you talk about banks turnover, assume that they had 4,000 people per, let us say, a lakh crores of, business. Actually, it has stagnated. The number of people has stagnated, but the turnover has gone up. And I see that is going to happen with AI. And this is really, sort of the beginning. And going forward, there's going to be a lot of, I would put, stress on the system. So a question I would like to ask all of you is that if your leadership is in the 60s and 70s, how are they going to lead you into the AI age? What skill sets do they bring that can lead us into the AI age? Would anyone like to answer that?
Yeah, anyone who's in a large organization or a mature organization, we'd love to hear from you. We've heard about startups. They're all pretty.
Sorry, what's the question again?
Yeah.
The question is that if in a large organization, your leadership is in this, the ages are in the 60s or maybe in the 70s or late 50s, how are they going to transform the organization when AI is supposed to be something that only the younger people are able to grasp? No disrespect to people of my age. Ved, would you like to attempt that one?
So, Rodolphe, the way I look at it, they have to reimagine business itself. If they are true leaders, they have to see how is AI going to impact the business, right, in multiple ways. So, for example, if you heard the book review by Katya, she was talking of machine as a customer. So, you need to fundamentally redefine the processes, redefine the customer journeys, etc. Now, coming to the way the leadership interacts with the younger generation workforce, that obviously that is something that at least people like you and me have gone through. We are not digital natives, right? We are digital immigrants. So internet came while we were already in the workforce. We have seen multiple transitions happening because of technology. The entire business environment has changed, and the way we interact with the younger generation has also changed. So it's going to be something similar, in a way. I don't know whether I answer your question, but
No, well, you see, these are all discussions that are happening, and so I guess that we are all trying to, look for the way forward. So, yes, Jayadatta, you put up your hand.
Jayadatta,
Anyone
go
else
ahead.
wants to jump in?
Yeah,
Please
just
put up
jump
your
in.
hand, okay?
It's a free flow now. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when I look at the evolution in the industry which I am, um, I definitely have seen a couple of things which is happening. First is there has been, of course, initially some sort of a denial saying that maybe this is not really applicable to us at a corporate or as a business level. Yeah, as you likely said, as an individual productivity tool, yes, but whether at the business level, initially there was a little bit reluctance, how this would look like. But once they started to get a taste of it themselves, I think many of them really have been able to see that, yes, this is going to be useful. But where I see the challenge is what Ved mentioned, because for AI to be really effective, the the process has to be reimagined completely, the way you're doing business right now. And whether they'll be able to make a leap of jump there, I'm a bit skeptical.
Right. So reimagining work itself, and I think that was something that I saw in the IT age, that when computers came in, then you had to actually reimagine how your entire work processes work. And yes, the other question I want to ask, what are the biggest misunderstandings that people have about AI? Let's talk about that. Any misunderstandings, or everything is hunky-dory?
Yeah, I think some people think it is just extended analytics and stuff like that, but it's much more than that. There's a lot of cognitive modeling and other things behind it.
Okay, okay. And what do you think would be the skill sets that people require to succeed now at different levels? Okay, we'll take at different levels. What are the skill sets that people require in the AI age? Or can AI do everything for you? See, when Kajat was talking about earlier, she did mention that, you are programming, you've reached the stage where you have to actually program and translate your emotions, translate your way of understanding, communicating into a language that AI is able to get back to you in, so that people think you're actually interacting with a human being. So what are the skill sets that are required to succeed in the AI age?
Yeah,
Pankaj,
Vinay.
I think, yeah,
yeah, Vinay, go
I
ahead.
think I just want to put a quick input saying that, some of us come from those media tech editorial sort of backgrounds. So asking the right questions and tweaking and editing and fine tuning and following up and prompting seems to be some sort of a organic skill set. In fact, today, many of the younger Gen Z content creators, they're able to tweak on the go, when they're in their learning and development phase, they're able to tweak their thoughts. So that skill, I feel, is something that I'm trying to cultivate, and many others are also trying to do it, especially the influencer generation.
Right. So it is
Just to
about
add,
judgment. Go ahead.
I think one of the things is, from what my experience has been is, under personal productivity, people have been able to adopt AI tools and, much faster and, and it is not only at the personal level, even at the office works or whatever the tasks are there, they're using largely, these productivity tools as productive aspects as well. So one of the other important things as an organization, people need to understand again, just these tools will not help them to, really, harness the intelligence of enterprise unless until they actually, go to the deeper aspects of the systems and, various departmental challenges and, redundancy around till they do not understand this explicit and tacit aspects of the knowledge and they don't really bring together. I don't think that there's a huge gap in that. I think people have to understand that, yeah, tacit is not part of the AI as such, but explicit, yes, yeah, you can use it largely. There are tools available. But I think this is a distinction which people need to really, get into, especially at the organizational implementation and, harnessing the intelligence. There's something which is very, very important.
Ved mentioned something very
Right.
interesting, digital native. I heard another term a while ago, AI native. So these are kids growing up in a purely AI environment. I was in York in the UK, and there was a school talking about what it means to have AI native kids. So first of all, it is, I can ask AI the same question n number of times. It never says dumb question, stupid question, why did you do this? Whereas parents always do that. Second, You can ask AI thousands of questions, infinite questions. It always gives you an answer. It never says, I'm bored, I'm tired, give me a break, nothing. So kids now expect this, and this is affecting the way they interact with parents and stuff. So we need to look at what's happening at these AI native people and see how we can sort of factor around it in a workplace also.
Oh, wonderful point, Madan. I'd never thought about that. And
Yeah.
I think this
Behaviors
is
change.
something where, behaviors
Behaviors change.
itself is
Yeah.
being changed by AI. And, so yes, we all are cognizant of that. It could lead us into, and so it's something that we need to be
So
thinking
can Gen
about.
Z be called AI native, Madan,
No,
in
no,
your
no,
view?
not at all.
No.
These are kids. I've seen it.
Gen
Right, okay.
Alpha.
My friend's
Gen
son,
Alpha.
my friend's daughter, she picks up the phone and she's learning French or something in school. She picks up the phone and ask Gemini, how do I pronounce Lafro or something, something? And then
Yeah.
the answer comes immediately.
Right.
Whereas she asked daddy and daddy said, look, I don't speak French. That's where you go. So now it's like, it's the substitute. She doesn't need the parent. The parents and teachers are getting very scared. So we need to see what the corporate extension of that might be.
We still believe, from what I gather, what Santosh had mentioned also is that what Vinay also had spoken about. I think that I look at the WEF World Jobs Report, and they said that the skill set that people need to have, I think it's still relevant. But I'm just throwing it that I do believe that these are relevant skills even in the AI age, and in order to succeed, it is about critical thinking. It is about sense making, judgment under ambiguity, communicating and storytelling, ethical reasoning, and collaboration across disciplines. These were the key skills that are required. So, what are are they going to change? Do you think they're going to change? And how are they going to change?
Yeah,
Especially on ethics.
yeah, brilliant question.
Hmm.
I think cross-disciplinary thinking is happening anyway with the younger generation. We grew up with, all these disciplines are separate, science, engineering, arts, and all that. But for the younger crowd, they're seeing it all seamlessly. So that part is changing. So yes,
Yeah.
we have to have interdisciplinary skills. I agree.
I think,
Sundara.
yeah, this is Pankaj. Thank you.
Pankaj, good to hear from you. Yes.
Yeah, I recently completed 7 years in knowledge management, and thanks to knowledge community and especially Rudolf sir and Jadar sir, so whom I learned a lot of things. Definitely, I'm very agree with this thought that collaboration is required because if you can say my experience in knowledge management, and it was a wonderful journey. And one thing which helped me is to collaboration because I started here in the podcast where people from different domains, they're from some, I interviewed even the doctor of the company also, the chief medical officer during COVID. COVID, what are the knowledge or things we need to, stop during COVID times? I started at that times. So what I believe that I think uh, in a nutshell, even the ethical, see, if we could get deeper into that, ethical means you have the trust within the people. So I think trust is one of the major factors which we need to create. It's whether knowledge management or AI or innovations. So as far as companies are concerned, and as a knowledge management executive, people should have trust. Sometimes people are not able to reveal you, which is critical. So if you have trust, if you have that sort of a relation with the people, they definitely share, which is good for the company, good for the processes. So bottom line is trust factor is evergreen, it's always there. That's the point.
Fabulous,
Fantastic.
Pankaj.
Anyone else
Yeah.
want to add anything? Sundar Raj, you've been very quiet. Sundar Raj, Ashok.
Hi, yes, just a couple of points. One is an engineering company is primarily focusing on AI first, and they're pushing the vibe coding to all of its engineers, whether you're a coder or not. They expect you to connect to some code repository, which of course they have um, rights to connect and understand what code it suggests, and then add their strategy on top. So they get some options, right, because of the vibe coding. That's been a big push in the engineering companies side, and some of our big large organizations client side. they are just enabling AI on almost all the tools. So it's not they without having a proper enterprise architecture and where to connect what, which information architecture layer to what intelligence layer. Every tool is becoming, there's a lot of duplication AI, which is happening in some areas. And I think it'll settle once they start seeing the results. Then the alignment will come in slowly. That's been my observation. And of course, like Pankaj mentioned, culture is an important aspect, the culture of the organization. And you have to definitely have trust if you're working towards capturing the tacit and making use of the tacit to explicit, and then properly connecting the intelligent layer on top of that.
Very nice, Sundar.
Thanks,
I
Sundar.
think
Yeah,
we
yeah.
will come back to this in a separate session of this
I
community.
have one
which
quick
is,
question, Madan. Any of you
hi.
have experienced a change in your role because of AI? Not just how you work, but has your role changed in any way?
Role as in designation kind of thing, or
No, your work,
task?
the way of working, your way of working. How has it changed? Let me tell you about my son. He's in Germany and he's working with a solar technology and an energy management company. And he says in the last 2 months, he said 20% of my workload has dropped because of the focus on AI. He said, earlier he used to do a lot of analytics, etc., and so on, but they have managed, and they used to have persons who would come and shadow them, so key people they would shadow, and they've created these agents. So he said 20% of my work has fallen, and now when a new client is onboarded and they're expecting a government client, he said, I'm expecting 50% of my time will actually get saved, and I'll have time now to do on value added work, So he actually knows he's a change in his work and his workload. Anyone has experienced something like that?
In some roles, yes. So if you're in a role where there is a set of activities that you're doing in a day, it's repetitive, right? And then if you can understand the flow and the kind of activity has a constant knowledge going into it, yes, and if you can define that, it can be automated, because the value that role generates is a constant, right? So it's like an assembly line. And then if the value of the knowledge that goes into that equation can produce value, not a constant value. The more you contribute, the more it can be amplified. That's where, and the flow is not something that can be understood. It's not a repetitive task. Those are the jobs that are not going to be disturbed by AI, and those are the jobs which cannot be structured or made efficient by AI. Do I make myself clear? So there's a flow, and then there is a constant K that goes in. If you can understand that, it's going to be efficient and it can be automated. If not, it's very hard.
So, Rodolphe, even the knowledge manager's role has evolved a bit because of AI. For example, I am consulting with a Fortune 100 organization where one of the charters of knowledge management was creating business knowledge for that particular industry. And that was happening through a route of primary research as well as secondary sources of information. Now, with these very powerful LLMs being available, actual knowledge curation is happening using those as the first draft, which is then given to experts to find the gaps that are there or the inconsistencies that are there. But it doesn't stop there. When you look at business processes, a lot of them are transactions running on systems like SAP, right? Agentic AI is coming in, which is looking at this body of knowledge, which is looking at the SOPs that are there, and certain things which are human in nature are now being transferred to the AI to take care. So in fact, there have been several successful examples where the end-to-end process is now completely knowledge enabled, running completely on AI. And the entire team, short of saying the team has gone redundant, I mean, there is a human in the loop, but it's like 20% of the total team. So
Very good.
plenty of changes
Good
are
example.
there on the ground
Yes.
as well.
One
Yes.
The
interesting
issue
case
that I'm
study just
seeing, yeah, sorry, just one word of caution on the agentic AI that is coming in. The issue I'm seeing is the scalability aspect. So, for example, when this was presented to the CFO, saying that for this small scope of work, which has gone completely AI enabled with knowledge as well as the transactional components being automated. Uh, can we now roll it out across the organization? It's already saving hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can save millions. That is where that skepticism and lack of trust and the hallucination aspect of AI comes in. That how can I be sure that it will be consistent? It will not flag results because these are hard transactions and you're taking decisions based on certain amount of knowledge which is interpreted by the AI engine. So I think that scalability is what is missing across large enterprises across the globe. That is where the takeaway from AI, the real ROI story is yet to be seen. Individual productivity improvements, plenty. As Sundar was saying, and others were also pointing out, all of us know how to use the perplexities and clouds and Geminis and chat GPTs, and we do benefit from it. But at an organizational level, same with vibe coding. For example, both my sons are software engineers. One is a startup guy. And they say that yes, they find productivity improvements. Can we trust it? No. You still need to, have that look because it may not give the most efficient code or it may give an incorrect code. Plus, code never works in isolation. It interacts with a lot of other pieces as well. Right. So there are still some challenges, but I'm sure they will be surmounted. It's getting better for sure. It's getting really good.
Okay, Pankaj, last couple of comments and then we need to wrap up. So Pankaj and then Rudy. Yeah.
Actually, this is my thought to Madan because you are also, glorifying Bangalore, and Bangalore is definitely a silicon of India. See, I'm just sharing it is a global picture about AI, what I have. I just want to understand it because you are so showcasing many startups there, AI. Uh, US has chat GPTs and Gemini and a lot of things, in a global market, which is really they are dominating the market with AI. China has DeepSeek. What about India? Are we behind the race? Because these companies have the foundational AI infrastructure, maybe decade back. What's ours to? Because we are, founding a lot of startups, how to convert your AI content to videos. And I belongs to construction industry where I think there's a immense opportunities for AI. And where are we are standing in global market in global that AI in India.
I think we
So I
are
think
fourth most innovative when it comes to AI. I read an article recently. Maybe I can share it to you.
yeah.
Pankaj, there's Sarvam AI as well.
That's a good question. This comes up in every NASCOM, CII, etc. event. Why can't we be the next Google of the world? Then it became, why can't we be the next OpenAI of the world? Then it became, why can't we be the next DeepSeek of the world? It's a great question. But well, let's talk about this next time when we do more of a session afterwards, because it takes a long time to respond to this one. It's about models of funding, foundational R&D,
Yeah.
long-term IP generation as compared to just use cases of AI. Foundational AI, deep tech is very different. So you're right. We need to do much more to get into deep tech AI and all that stuff. But that's another question for another day. We are way out of time. But Rudy, you want to do the last summing up of this session, and then I give it to Manasvi after that.
Yeah, actually, I think that we've had a quick discussion and trying to figure out where we are on the roadmap. Madan, I think 6 months later we need to meet, and I do believe that there will be some progress, but a year later you'll see definite progress. So I think we can have this discussion again after 6 months and again after 1 year. So thank you everyone for your contributions.
Thanks, everyone. I must thank my team first and foremost for all the effort and work they've done behind this. Manasvi, closing remarks from you. We've got one last event on Friday. So let's hear from you.
Sorry. Yeah. Am I audible now? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So a huge thank you to everyone. Thank you, Madan, for facilitating this session like every day, every time. And a huge thank you who joined us today for Enterprise AI Mixer, founders, enterprise leaders, AI experts, operators, innovators, and partners. The energy in the room was electric and the conversation were real, honest, and future focused. A special note of appreciation to Dr. Madan Mohan Rao and Vinay Dora, co-founder of Mixer World, for setting the tone with vision, clarity, and purpose. And today was more than a mixer, it was a glimpse into how enterprise AI is reshaping business intelligence, automation, decision making, storytelling, and growth. Your engagement has made this session sharp, relevant, and deeply actionable. So at Mixer, we believe in putting the right people in the right room. When that happens, everything else follows: knowledge, capital, partnerships, customers, and scales. That's what today was about, and we were just getting started. So if you love today's session, the next one is unmissable. It's an in-person event, which is Mixer Business Current, a 3-year celebration. We are finishing 3 years at Mixer today, this year. And the session consists of a full day accelerator plus VC experience featuring 2026 roadmaps, masterclasses and storytelling frameworks, statewide accelerator leaderships, founder showcases, high value business connects, and celebrating with Mixer community. So if you're in Bangalore, don't miss the chance to be in the room. This is happening at HSR Kedam, HSR layout at Karnataka Digital Economy Mission. Thank you once again for being part of Enterprise AI Mixer, for showing up with curiosity, confidence, and direction. See you on the 19th. And I've also mentioned the registration link in the chat. So click on the registration link for attending our next final event of this year. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Happy New Year. All the best for 2026. And we have more of these forums coming up in the future. Suggestions, topics, etc. Most welcome. Thanks, Vinay, Manasvi, and Sai somewhere at the back. Thanks, Rudy.